Visit elmhurst.org to explore the new City of Elmhurst website. Find out the latest Elmhurst news, pay utility bills and parking tickets, report concerns, and much more. Elmhurst.org is an ideal way to discover what Elmhurst offers your business, your family, your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Elmhurst College Women's Chorus under the direction of Donna Tolman. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Lee Daniels, and on behalf of Alan and Angela Ray, I'm delighted to welcome you to the 45th Annual Elmhurst College President's Community Breakfast. As we gather in this wonderful setting, and starting out such a wonderful day with our chorus, and how pleased we are, Mr. President, to have them part of this community. We are honoring our great institution of learning at this 45th Annual Breakfast. Let us also honor America, our state and community, by redirecting ourselves to the principles taught by our forefathers that made this country the world's leader in freedom, opportunity, human rights, and the constant quest for knowledge and self-improvement. As Winston Churchill said, "What is the use of living if not to strive for noble causes and to make this world a better place for those who will live in it after we are gone?" We at Elmhurst College believe in the search for noble causes and intellectual excellence, community, social responsibility, stewardship, and faith, meaning, and values, which of course are our core values. Following and observing these core values, day in and day out, we strive to meet our responsibility to our country and mankind. This is not just a school for higher thought and debate. It is an institution where we explore, challenge, examine, and search for excellence. We are a school of music, of business, of nursing, of education, of professional studies, of math, chemistry, and science, and of political science and more. We are part of the fabric that makes this country great and an institution of global importance and forward thinking. We also recognize that we are an integral part of the community serving the metropolitan Chicagoland area and beyond. To that end, we will hold ourselves always responsible to our constituents, you and members of the community, and their right to expect excellence and dedicate ourselves to noble causes, while always remembering that the preservation of our democracy does not come without sacrifice and hard work. In that spirit, let us honor America and our community by reciting together the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag and our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to welcome a man that you see frequently. He's kind of shy and retiring. He's not somebody that's really out in the open all the time, Mr. President. We know him as a quiet guy, but he's going to lead us in our invocation, the Reverend H. Scott Matheny.
Thank you, Lee. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I hope that some of you have your respective greens on. I'm not sure where it is, sir.
I'm English today.
Beloved, on this glorious day with music that awaits us with an amazing community called Elmhurst College, you join me in offering prayers. Let us join our hearts together. Almighty and eternal God, the psalmist in her wisdom declares how good it is when brothers and sisters dwell in unity together. And so we center down in unity here now, on the beauty of this morning march, full of hope and expectancy as spring looms, and on this beloved college nestled in elms of stately glory. For there is a river that runs through this college, this state, this nation, your world. And that river is deep, rich, life-giving, thirst-quenching. It allows us to be blessed with the bountiful food for this morning, for amazing voices of young men and women who sing with joy, power, and grace. That river secures our ordered life and civic affairs, giving us elected officials that seek to serve all of us as they build our common good. And so we pray for all of our elected officials who serve us, from the President, our Governor, and all that are here. We pray that that river that you are the author of will be stirred up and help us out of our complacency at times. When you, O God, trouble the waters, stirring our souls and hearts to rise up as on the wings of eagles, soaring, that we might remember 50 years ago, even in Selma, where your river worked to heal us. And so we pause to thank you for that long, deep river that is so pure, that gives us love. And then perhaps we can say, like Father Herbert, thou hast given us so much to me. Give one more thing, Almighty God, a grateful heart, not thankful when it pleaseth me, as if thy blessings had some spare days, but such a heart whose pause may be always for thy praise. We praise you, Almighty God, for this college, this nation, and your world. Bless this time, the food that we have been bestowed upon, even more so, the table fellowship, for words from our president, Dr. Ray, and for all that stands now. Lead us with joy into this beloved time. This we pray in your holy name. Amen. Thank you all, and we will look forward to seeing you at the many events on this campus. And Lee, you and I are the only things that are standing in front of that table.
That's right.
Come on, get us going.
So where's your green? Yeah, okay, we understand that. Well, thank you, Reverend. We look forward to seeing you on campus, and about Elmhurst, you'll never have any trouble recognizing him because he will approach you. So, as I mentioned, we of course are so appreciative to the Elmhurst College Women's Chorus and Donna Tallman, but we also are appreciative for the food that we're going to take right now. The Chartwell staff will release tables for the food. And during the course of our meal, we have another surprise for you, and that is, of course, the College Clarinet Quartet, under the direction of Gail Croson, will play for you during our meal. So thank you. Enjoy your breakfast. We have great messages for you ahead, and be surprised and be happy. So enjoy your meal. So once again, I hope you enjoyed your breakfast, and thank you to Chartwells for a great job. And of course, to our Elmhurst College Clarinet Quartet under the direction of Gail Croson. You know, don't ever forget that you are what make us all proud of today, tomorrow, and on. So thanks for what you do for us and for entertaining us today with beautiful music. Thank you very much. Where's Scott Matheny? Where's your tie, Scott? See my green tie? Paul Fickner, where's your green tie? That was Paul's idea, Scott. He said, we'll change ties. So here I am. But I think before we leave, you need to get one too. Dan, maybe you'll have to give Scott his tie. No way, he said. But ladies and gentlemen, what a joy it is to be here today, particularly with the weather finally breaking. And today, as we gather at the 45th Annual Elmhurst College President's Community Breakfast, this is an important and historic time at Elmhurst College for many reasons. However, perhaps the most important reason is that today recognizes the 7th and final breakfast that will be hosted by our President, S. Allen Ray. Dr. Ray completed his service, or will complete his service, on June 30th of this year. And as many of you know, Dr. Ray is an attorney, a Harvard-trained student of theology, a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, and a scholar of federal Indian law. He became Elmhurst College president on July 1, 2008. On that day, he launched the first formal comprehensive strategic planning process in the institution's history. The Elmhurst College Strategic Plan 2009-2014 set the stage for ongoing institutional improvement in the face of challenging economic times. The plan also clarified and codified the institution's core values: intellectual excellence, community, social responsibility, stewardship, and faith, meaning, and values. Under Dr. Ray's leadership, the college significantly increased the presence of underrepresented students in our student body and launched the School for Professional Services, a forward-looking and growing school of graduate education and adult learning, offering over 15 degree programs ranging from project management to public health. The college also enlarged its online teaching capacity, invigorated its alumni association, and worked to more purposely engage the larger society through strategic partnerships and a highly regarded program of cultural events, bringing to the college in-person lectures by many of the world's intellectual, political, and scientific leaders and thinkers. President Ray also looked to strengthen academic opportunities for our students by creating partnerships with the John Marshall Law School and Roosevelt University, to name a few. Over the last 7 years, the college completed a number of major capital projects that have enhanced how Elmhurst students learn, compete, perform, and grow as persons and emerging professionals. The 4,500 square foot Elmhurst College Simulation Center at Elmhurst Memorial Hospital, which opened last year, is a state-of-the-art learning facility at Elmhurst Hospital. The center serves the college undergraduate and graduate nursing students and is also available to hospital staff and first responders and other healthcare professionals. The Simulation Center serves to further advance the college's innovative and productive partnership with Elmhurst Hospital. If you have not had a chance to see it, I invite you to make an appointment to go see it, because it really is an outstanding facility that offers state-of-the-art nursing training. And thank you to Elmhurst Hospital for your partnership. Several classrooms were also reinvigorated. Performing arts and athletic facilities on the Elmhurst College campus have been renovated or expanded during Dr. Ray's tenure, including the Speech Language Pathology Clinic, which will accommodate the college's new master's program, and Communication Sciences and Disorders, the Physics Lab, Buick Hall Recital Hall, the Mill Theater, and Langhorst Field, which served new artificial turf and stadium lighting. Last year, Dr. Ray led the community in the creation of a new strategic plan, which the faculty and Board of Trustees passed unanimously. This forward-looking plan lays out ambitious goals for both curricular and enrollment growth at Elmhurst College. Recognizing that Elmhurst is an integral part of the city of Elmhurst, and our mayor is here today, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and of course the larger urban setting, President Ray encouraged and has been a strong supporter for a closer and more meaningful partnership between our community and the college. Soon, the city of Elmhurst will pass an ordinance creating the Elmhurst City and College Commission with the charge of enhancing the working relationship between the city and college. And again, I want to thank the mayor for his leadership along with President Ray. When the college achieves its goals, President Ray is frequently heard to say, under these new goals, we will be able to provide the Elmhurst experience much more effectively and to many more people. We also will be able to provide the larger society with an example of a fine, traditional liberal arts college with a commitment to pre-professional education that found a way to take a special kind of learning, high quality, highly personal, values-based, that once was reserved for an elite population and today is made available to a large number of worthy students. With all the success that I've outlined now and more, many of these accomplishments could not have been done without the support of an effective partner, encouraging him, supporting him, and the college all along. So please join me in recognizing Angela Ray, who is the epitome of an outstanding First Lady. Thank you, Angela, for your service. Thank you, Angela, for your service to Elmhurst College and your exemplary support of your husband, family, and of course the college. So Dr. Ray has given his all to advance the purpose and promise of Elmhurst College. As we welcome him to the podium, please join me in thanking him for his many years of service to this college and community. Dr. S. Allen Ray.
Thank you very much, Lee. And it really is my pleasure to be with you today, one last time, to share some thoughts on the state of the college and, of course, briefly reflect on the last 7 years with you. Before we go there, though, I wanted to ask if we could acknowledge some of the folks with us today who are so much a part of our community and have meant so much to me personally over these years. First, just let me thank the Office of Communications and Public Affairs for organizing this event. And we've already recognized, but let's do it again, Chartwell's for this wonderful meal. Thank you. We also have with us today members of my cabinet. And I'd like to call on you to stand, please. And if you would save your applause to the end, we'll be able to recognize them all together. They are, if I get my notes here, Joe Emick, Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations, Dr. Jim Kulich, Vice President and Chief Information Officer, Dr. Tim Riccardotti, Dean of the School for Professional Studies, Jim Winters, Vice President for Enrollment and Communications, and Larry Braskamp, our Executive Vice President. Please join me in welcoming and thanking these wonderful folks. Thank you all so much. It is also my pleasure to welcome everyone who is part of the trustees, the Board of Trustees of Elmhurst College. Without them, the college would be lacking in the kind of focus I believe that it has. Their responsibility is ultimate in the sense that the integrity, the financial stability, the direction rests on the shoulders of these men and women. I would like to ask if they would stand as I call your name, and we will welcome and thank you at the end of reading out the names. So I understand with us today is Wes Beckton, Joel Herder, Hugh McLean. Is Ed Munkus with us today? Yes, he is. Russ Wiegand and Kevin York. Did I miss anybody? If not, let's join me in thanking these wonderful folks. Well, you may have noticed, as they say, look to your left and look to your right, you'll see a politician. How could it be otherwise? On this event and St. Paddy's Day, you know, what a constellation, right? So it is also my pleasure to introduce some of the true public servants of the area, of the city, county. And if I may call your names and you would stand, then we will acknowledge you at the end of reading out the names as well. And I have a list of you that's somewhat eclectic in terms of organization, so don't infer anything from the order in which I call your names. Not that you would. Let's start with Mayor Steve Morley, City of Elmhurst, who I know is with us, and Dan Cronin, DuPage County Board Chair, and Representative Patty Belloc, Deputy Republican Leader. And we have with us also State Representative Kathy Willis. We have DuPage County Board Member Paul Fickner, DuPage County Treasurer, the Honorable Gwen Henry, Elmhurst College, class of 2008. DuPage County Clerk, the Honorable Paul Hines, and DuPage County Clerk of the Circuit Court, the Honorable Chris Kacherubis. We also have with us John Morrissey, Trustee York Township, Alderman from the City of Elmhurst, Norm Leader, Scott Levin, Denis Polomsky, Susan Rose, and again, Kevin York. We have Mayor Michael Gresk from the City of Wheaton with us as well. Can you get the, okay, there he goes. Now, have I missed anybody? Don't be shy. Who have we got? Patty Smith, thank you. Great to have you here. Marty Doyle, okay. And anyone else that I've missed here? If you could say their names out louder for us all. Stand up. Thank you. Listen, let's give them a big round of applause. I do want to underscore there's some levity, of course, in asking folks to stand. But after 7 years, I want you to know I am deeply grateful for everything that you've done for this college. The many times I've written you letters asking for your support, whether for capital projects or to keep MAP money in our budget, to help us on many other things, and of course just coming here to the college and being visible to us all, especially our students. I personally want to thank each and every one of you for all that you've brought to this college, and which I know you will continue to bring in the future. Finally, there are two groups that I would like to ask to rise because they mean so much to the life of our college. The first are the members of the Elmhurst College Alumni Board. Would those members please stand? There we go. Join me in recognizing these dedicated men and women. Just a marvelous group, and when I look back over 7 years and see how much you've grown as an institution, an effective component of our life here, I can't help but be impressed. Thank you all. Also, we have with us members of Elmhurst College and Community. We're transitioning in some leadership there, and we're going to be moving to engaging with you, I think, more effectively in the next year. But I want to say it's been my pleasure for 7 years to work with all of you. It's a robust and growing group. And if you would please stand if you belong to Elmhurst College and Community. I want to thank you for coming today and especially acknowledge Charlotte Muschow. Charlotte, thank you very much for your leadership for 20 years. One gentleman that we did not call out, but I do want to acknowledge here is Jim Collins, the head of School District 205 in Elmhurst. Jim Collins, please rise. Thank you. Now, before turning to my remarks, a much more important bit of information to share with you. As many of you may know, that last night our basketball team went the first round in the NCAA in triple overtime. Triple overtime. That's remarkable. And I was moved to say that because Joel Herter's sitting over there levitating in his seat. So it's a great game, I'm sure it is. And now we're playing tonight. Is it, where is it?
It's up at St. Norbert, same place.
Same place at St. Norbert. Do you know what time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
It's on the Elmhurst College video.
It's on the Elmhurst College website video. Under athletics, you can find it there. It should be a great game. Now, so as is customary on this occasion, it's really my privilege to share with you some observations on the state of our college as we move through the spring of 2015. Higher education in recent years, as I'm sure you know, has been roiled by a series of events and alterations to our economic environment, which were either caused by or accelerated by the Great Recession of 2008-2009. Across our nation, colleges and universities have experienced a declining demographic of 18 to 22-year-olds, offset to some degree, in a smallish degree considered overall, by an increase in Hispanic population and an increase in adult students. Parents and students, you may have seen, are openly skeptical more and more of the value of a college education at its current high prices and subsequent student debt loads. Though the nation's economy, I think, seems to be recovering from the indicators we see, and the stock market is hitting new highs, the impact on industry, our industry, higher ed, is uneven and has not resulted yet in large-scale hiring of recent college graduates. America still seems, if I can generalize, to be searching for the next new means of wealth creation. And until we find it, I think liberal arts colleges such as ours are going to continue to have a hard time convincing parents and students that the educational preparation we offer and have offered for decades is a good bet for the future in such uncertain times. Now, we at Elmhurst College obviously are not immune from the economic environment in which we operate. Fortunately, since the onset of the recession, our eyes collectively have been wide open, and we've striven to anticipate the changes we now see in the higher education landscape. We've engaged in honest self-examination to see where we need to improve our game, where we have undervalued strengths, and how the needs of future employers and graduate education may be a guide, a strong guide, for our academic program development. As I look back in the 6+ years that I've had the honor of serving as the college's president, I see a landscape that's filled with strategically selected initiatives and investments aimed at maximizing our college's potential and raising our college's profile. We've been guided by our strategic planning twice to restate our mission and to offer a clear vision and set of living core values, and indeed they are, to guide our choices. From them have come some concrete initiatives. I would like to recite a few of them to you that stood out as I was thinking back. They are these: to raise money from many sources, including the state of Illinois, to update our science facilities in order to better prepare students to serve in the rapidly growing health professions. And indeed, I think that will be a primary direction for this college and many others in the years to come. To start master's programs in nursing specialties and speech-language pathology and expand our physical plant to accommodate this program. To partner with Elmhurst Memorial Hospital to co-found our 4,500 square foot nursing patient simulation center and fill it with state-of-the-art teaching technology, more than $320,000 worth, all of it coming from individual donors. To hire more full-time faculty to educate and grow sectors in our professions, but also in our core liberal arts community. Indeed, I believe that the faculty are the strength of this college, and our wise investment in those resources are well spent. To start the School for Professional Studies, which we like to call our School for Busy People, and site of responsibility for non-traditional student education, for our ELSA program development for students with developmental disabilities, and as a hub and a locus of responsibility for the area partnerships that Lee referred to earlier. To fully implement a new student orientation program based on a values-driven model of student development, and thanks to our faculty, to pair it with a new general education curriculum that enshrines the high-touch faculty-student engagement that Elmhurst is known for. To reach out to the National Church of Christ, to strategically reinterpret our historical relationship and bring to even greater public attention our legacy as the alma mater of the Niebuhr brothers. To reach out to different faiths throughout Chicagoland and the nation, to make Elmhurst College genuinely a site of interfaith dialogue and interfaith cooperation, an effort that we have raised some significant money around. To reach out to a wide variety of young people and invite them to join our campus community and enrich it with their diverse experience and backgrounds so that Elmhurst College can be as complex a place, as I often say, as the world our graduates will enter. To successfully start a fundraiser annually that many of you I know participate in, the Evening for Scholarships, which is coming up, which last year netted more than $310,000, and which I know all of you are planning to attend on March 14th. Tickets are available. To significantly grow our Office of Development and Alumni Affairs, raise more money each year, as we've done, and start 3 Elmhurst College alumni clubs in St. Louis, in Chicago, and in Washington, D.C. To renovate our theater, recital hall, physics lab, and athletic field. And something I'm particularly proud about, to introduce men's and women's lacrosse at the varsity level, making us a true leader within our conference. To offer to the public a renowned annual lecture series of internationally accomplished scientists, historians, journalists, authors, religious leaders, government officials, and other thought leaders, thus raising dramatically our profile among academics and the community. And to host Illinois lawmakers on campus, and thanks to Speaker Lee Daniels, offer an annual governmental forum to continue to make Elmhurst, in the words of former Governor Edgar, an emergent leader for civic engagement among Illinois colleges and universities. And 15th, most recently, to adopt multiple strategic and tactical measures that over time will make us a financially stronger college, increase our student body, and ensure the long-term sustainability of Elmhurst College, all the while surrendering none of our commitment to academic excellence and personal high-touch attention to our students' self-formation as well-educated, ethical, and civic-minded individuals. These initiatives, born of our 2 strategic plans, and many more, now shape Elmhurst College and lay before us our concrete possibilities. It's true that they have come at a financial cost, but I would argue strongly that continually investing wisely in our future, even and especially in challenging times, is a precondition of institutional flourishing. There is a price for innovation, but unless we pay it, we leave to chance any hope of a competitive advantage in an increasingly unforgiving industry environment. Of course, we can't be everything to all people. The key to our future, I think, as a college, is to know what we're good at and go after it, each and every one of us with everything we've got. There is reason, however, for optimism. The results of our work have received broad acclaim among our peers, and this year we were recognized by U.S. News & World Report, Money Magazine, Forbes Magazine, and the Princeton Review. All evaluations point to our highly competitive standing and our areas of excellence and status as the best value school for higher education around Chicago, regionally in the Midwest, and even nationally. Indeed, we have for several years now been number 11 in U.S. News & World Report's rankings, up from our previous position of 12th. So we're very proud of being in a very, very tough group. It's very hard to move up when you're so close to the top among over 150 more schools. But I think that's a rough measure, but it's something I think that all of us can take pride in who are associated with the college. In these challenging times, all of us can and should take this deserved pride in our recognition by a large number of outside evaluators that we are an educational institution that is outstanding, that also represents great value for the dollar, for our students, and for their parents. Perhaps it should not be a surprise then that looking ahead, we are cautiously optimistic that next fall will reverse shortfalls in student enrollments in our traditional undergraduate program that we and virtually every other college have seen over the past few years. Our new Office of Enrollment and Communications began operation on July 1st, 2014. And since then, we've successfully consolidated 2 complex operations, the Office of Admissions and Communications Public Affairs, and worked to bring the combined staff to a higher level of service to the college, not just working harder, but working smarter. Using a new predictive method of analysis that allows us to focus recruitment tactics on potential students who have the greatest affinity, demonstrated affinity to our school, as of Tuesday, March 3rd, applications to the college were running at record levels. We had received 3,191 applications for first-year admission for fall of 2015. This is the highest number of applications received by the college at this point in the enrollment cycle in the institution's history. Compared to the same date in 2014, applications to Elmhurst are up 12%, and compared to the same date in 2013, they are up 34%. Most significantly, over 70% of these applications are from high school students we've determined to have high affinity to Elmhurst College. Of course, it's a long way to next September, but to have these kind of data at this point in the year is an extremely positive sign. In closing, I want to offer some words I shared with this audience last year. They are at least as applicable today as they were then. Dr. Angela Lee Duckworth, a neuroscientist and psychologist whose work centers on the relationship between persistence and success, has said this: "Grit is sticking with your future, day in and day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality." Unquote. For nearly 7 years, it's been my privilege to work on behalf of Elmhurst College, through recession and amidst uncertainty, to think collectively with my colleagues, faculty, staff, and trustees, with students and alumni, and with all of you in our Elmhurst and Illinois communities, to think about how not just to survive, but to thrive and excel as a place of education in the broadest, richest sense, the most Elmhurst sense, and then put plans into practice to work really hard to make that future our reality. So here's to grit, here's to all of you, and here's to Elmhurst College and to sticking with our future. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we move to the next part of our program, I was remiss a few minutes ago not to speak the obvious, but one must never not speak what's important, even if it is obvious. And that is that our day, our collection of company here, and so many other achievements that the college can look upon with the community could not have been possible without the help of an extraordinary individual. My special assistant for government and community relations, former Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives, Lee Daniels. Lee, would you please rise? Well, this morning, Elmhurst College is honored to welcome an especially esteemed guest. Less than 2 months ago, Bruce Rauner was sworn in as the 42nd governor of Illinois. He's wasted no time in making good on his campaign promise to shake up Springfield, not to mention the rest of Illinois. And this morning, it's Elmhurst's turn. A challenging journey lies ahead for us all, but at least with the election of Governor Rauner, we're on the road of that journey and we're moving ahead. Teddy Roosevelt once said, and I think this is quite apt, quote, "Credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who spends himself in a worthy cause," unquote. There can be no doubt that Governor Rauner is in the arena, and we are too. All of our collective efforts as Illinois citizens must bend to the task of fixing our state's profound problems of law and policy to restore it to prosperity and integrity, both moral and financial, and to earn again our reputation as the land of Lincoln and all that that implies. I would like our governor to know that Elmhurst College is eager to join him in the pursuit of progress and good government. Another Illinois governor, Jim Edgar, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, recently observed that Elmhurst College, quote, has emerged as a leader among Illinois colleges for its determined focus on civic engagement and service to the community, unquote. In this work, we are happy to be your ally. Governor Rauner, through the excellent education of our future thinkers, creators, and leaders, through active, sustained engagement with the communities beyond our campus, Elmhurst College will join with you and do our part to bring back Illinois. And now I am very pleased to introduce the governor of this great state, the Honorable Bruce Rauner.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'm deeply honored. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Elmhurst College is one of the greatest institutions of higher learning in America. It's an honor, it's a privilege for us to have this great college here in the great state of Illinois. Thank you for your dedication to Elmhurst College. As was just said, you are dedicated to civic engagement, to involvement in the community, and making sure that good government is part of what we have here in Illinois and in America. Thank you for that, and God bless you. I'm here because I'm working for you. That's why I'm here. I'm working for you. I want the government of Illinois working for you. And for too long, it hasn't been. And we're going to change it in a very dramatic fashion. Change doesn't come easily, it doesn't come quickly, but we're going to change the government. So it's run for your benefit. We need institutions of education, higher learning, thriving in Illinois. We need supporting great schools like Elmhurst College, great universities like the University of Illinois and others. We need support for our K through 12 education system, our early childhood education, our community colleges. Education is at the core of what makes America great. It's at the core of what allows the American dream to become a reality for the people of Illinois and the people throughout the United States. Nothing more important that we do together collectively than education. Nothing more important. That's the key to a higher quality life. That's the key to higher incomes. That's the key to families progressing. It's the whole key to keeping America great and making America greater, day in, day out, year in, year out. I'm here because I want to work for you, and I need your help. We need to make the changes together. The change will come about by us uniting and demanding that the government respond and work for the people again. Special interest groups have taken over our state government. They've been doing it for years. The special interest groups have controlling the political process, controlling many of the politicians in Springfield, and they're bending them to their will. And the government is working for the special interest groups, not for you. And we've got to change that. We've got to take the power away from the special interest groups and give it back to you. You are Illinois. You deserve to have the power. You deserve to control what goes on in your government. We're going to change it. Now, the folks who like the status quo, the special interest groups, they've got a lot of money. You know whose money they've got? Your money. They've got your money, and they're spending it to control the system, to protect themselves, not to serve you. And we're going to take that power away from them. Now, they're going to be very cranky about that. They're not going to like it. But you know what? We're going to do it. And we're going to get the power back to you. You control what happens in your government. You control whether your property taxes go up or not. Your property taxes don't go up unless you want them to go up, and you decide how much they should go up. You decide what the cost structure is in your government, in DuPage County, in Cook County. You decide whether collective bargaining occurs inside your government. You decide what gets collectively bargained or not. You decide whether people who work for you have to join a union or not. You decide. If you like the status quo, keep it. Terrific. If you want to change it, you should be empowered to change it. You decide what goes on in your public schools. You decide what gets collectively bargained or what doesn't get collectively bargained. You decide whether your teachers have to join a union to teach for your children or not. You decide. You don't get told by other people. You decide. They're your schools. This is your government. You decide what goes on in it. Springfield doesn't decide. Special interests don't decide. You decide. And you decide in your local economy. If you want your businesses to have forced unionization, terrific. Keep it. But if you don't believe your economy should be restricted by that and forced unionization, you decide. If you want to compete with Texas and Tennessee and Indiana and Wisconsin and Michigan and Iowa, you decide whether you're going to compete with them and on what basis. You don't get told by other people. You decide. This is your economy. This is your county. This is your city. This is your college. You decide. You are the people of Illinois. You should have the power. The special interest groups should not have the power. They work for you. You don't work for them. They got to understand that. We've had a reversal in Illinois. Some of these government union bosses think that you work for them. You don't work for them. They work for you. And they better start thinking about it that way. They better respond that way. We have a fundamental conflict of interest in America. And some people have said to me, Bruce, you're radical. This is a radical idea you're saying. This ain't radical. This is common sense, and this is centrist. This is centrist. You know, the federal government doesn't allow collective bargaining on anything other than a few issues inside the government. They allow collective bargaining, but only on certain issues. Democrats put that in place. Franklin Roosevelt, the most pro-union president in American history, said private sector unions are one thing. Inside government, it's an entirely different thing. And government unions need to be checked by legislation. They should not be allowed to strike, and they should only be allowed to collectively bargain on certain things. Michael Bloomberg, when he was mayor of New York, now, he saved his best speech of his entire mayoral process for his last speech as he was leaving office. Too often politicians really speak the truth when they're leaving, not when they're coming. But you know what he said? He said we have a fundamentally broken system in city government and state government. The unions inside the government control the politicians. They get unreasonable pensions, unreasonable pay scale, unreasonable work rules, unreasonable health care that voters don't get. And they can do it because they take over the politicians and they control the process. He said it's a fundamental conflict of interest. He's correct. And when people look at what's going on in Chicago, they're talking about, we have a little pension problem, or Rahm Emanuel is a little Napoleon, or, Chuy Garcia, doesn't know. The headline in Chicago should be, the corrupt bargain between politicians and the government union bosses is bankrupting Chicago. That should be the headline. It's not the headline because the media doesn't understand what's really going on. We know, I'll tell you a fact, the Chicago machine, you all have heard the Chicago machine, the vaunted Chicago machine, it's a government union machine. That's what the Chicago machine is. It's a government union machine, and it's bankrupting the city. The city's going bankrupt. It's going bankrupt. Chicago public schools are going bankrupt. It's a fact. And if we don't change in Illinois, the state has the same fate. People say, Bruce, you got to stop picking on unions. It's not a union issue. You just should balance the budget. Just balance the budget. Balancing the budget ain't hard. It's not hard. I can balance it at whatever level people want. We can have discipline in the process. We can balance the budget. If we don't fix the conflict of interest, if we don't change the structure inside the government, the next person after me is going to blow the lid off again, just like Blagojevich and Quinn did. We won't have fixed our problem unless we rip that corruption right out at its roots. That conflict of interest, that's what's got to be taken on, because that's what blows the budget out of balance year in, year out. And you can look at New Jersey, Connecticut, California, Massachusetts. The states where the government unions are dominant are the states with the biggest unfunded pension liability, the biggest debt, the biggest deficits, the biggest economic problems. It's a fact. And people have said to me in the General Assembly, say, Bruce, just raise the income tax and we'll fix it. We'll have the money to fix it. Or just put in a progressive income tax and it'll be fixed. Hello? No. Just look at New Jersey. New Jersey has brutally high property taxes just like Illinois. Us in New Jersey, we have the highest property taxes in America. It's not a coincidence that Illinois and New Jersey lead the nation in out-migration. It ain't a coincidence. We lost more people out of Illinois last year than any state in America. It's outrageous. In the last 10 years, we've lost 275,000 people out of Illinois. Did you know that? That's the same as Springfield, Decatur, and Champaign leaving. We are into a spiral downward. We've got to take on the core problem. And just look at New Jersey. High property taxes, high sales tax just like us, and they've got a very high progressive income tax, which we don't have, not yet, and it ain't going to happen under my watch. Look, they can't even afford to pay their pensions. They're not paying their pensions. Chicago has some of the highest property taxes in America. They can't afford to pay their pensions. The system is broken. It's dying under its own weight. Unless we get at that core issue, we can't fix the problem. And it's the government union. How does it work when a government union leader can sit across the politician, governor especially, but legislators? I'll give you $5 million for your election, taxpayer-funded union dues. $5 million for your election. I'll give you 5,000 of my members to take your literature around. I'll get you in office. Once you're in office, I want you to remember who got you there, and I'm going to sit down with you. I want to negotiate my pension, my health care, and my work rules with you. Hello? This is a conflict of interest, ladies and gentlemen. In Illinois, we make it illegal for a business that contracts with the state. It's illegal for a business that contracts with the state to make a political contribution to a state politician. It's illegal. I think it should be. Unfortunately, I'm a proud Republican, but Republicans for years had a game where you give me $100,000 for my campaign, I'll make sure you get the paving contract. No, that ain't serving the people of Illinois. Well, the government union bosses are taking over the politicians now. Trial lawyers. Do you know in Illinois we're one of the few states that we elect our judges? Elect all our judges. I like voting, but you know what? A lot of these judges, I don't know. I don't feel qualified to vote for them. I'm a little embarrassed. I don't know. It's hard to know. In Illinois, our judges all are elected, and the trial lawyers can give basically unlimited campaign cash to them. The same trial lawyers argue cases in front of those judges. It's a conflict. We have a broken system of conflict of interest. And let me tell you another one, prevailing wage and project labor agreements inside your governments. It's costing the taxpayers of Illinois 25% more on average. Every time you build a school, every time you build a bridge or pave a road, it's costing you 25% more than it otherwise would, because you're not allowed to do true competitive bidding in Illinois. The system's rigged. You can only use certain contractors and you have to pay a certain amount, otherwise you can't let them bid. Baloney. What's wrong with competition and choice? Why can't you decide what goes on in your bidding process? And I want to be a governor that's all about infrastructure. I want to have the best roads, the best schools, the best bridges, locks, dams, canals, airports, rail system in America. I want the best for you. And I want to put billions of dollars into our infrastructure. But if we got to spend 25% more on every project than it would otherwise cost, you know what? You're not getting value for your tax dollars. And that's 25% fewer schools we can build, fewer roads we can expand, fewer rail systems we can improve. We've got to get value for your tax dollars, and there's no reason that system should be constricted and you should be limited in your competitive bidding. You should decide what goes on in your governments on what you got to pay and what you don't have to pay. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Unfunded mandates. You got Springfield coming down on you, putting all kinds of restrictions in your schools and in your government, what you can and can't do. If Springfield's not going to pay for it, they shouldn't be telling you what to do and how much you got to spend. That's baloney. You should decide. You should control it. Do you know we have 7,000 units of government in Illinois? 7,000 units of government. We have more than any other state in America. Double the average state. We have 2,000 more units of government than the number 2 state. Hello. This is not necessary. We can shrink it. You can be empowered to control it. You can shrink the number of units of government that's going on here. Now, this is scary for some folks who like the status quo. It's scary to think that you might actually be able to control your own destiny. Well, you know what? That's what America's about. That's what democracy's about. Voters control, local control. You decide what goes on in your government. You decide what goes on in your schools. You decide what goes on in your economy and your competitiveness. You're the American people. You're the citizens of Illinois. You should decide. Special interests in Springfield should not decide. This is our year. We got to get it done. Now, I need your help. So I'm living in Springfield now. I'm honored to be there. I need you to come on down. Write some letters, make some phone calls, come knock on the doors. Come to the office of Speaker Madigan. Come over there with me. I'm over there a lot. Come on over there to visit President Cullerton. Come on over there with me. To let them know you're a voter in Illinois. You want to be empowered to control your destiny. Let them know. They'll respond. They will respond. They respond to pressure. We need the people of Illinois to help bring the pressure. And come on, I'll invite you over to the governor's residence. It needs a little fixing up, but I want you to come over there with me. And it's a nice place. We're going to treat it with pride and respect. I'm going to fix it up. They wouldn't let me put private donations into it to fix it. They said the taxpayers got to pay to fix it up. I said, why? I can raise the money for it. They said, well, it's a public building. I said, taxpayers would be proud of me to raise some money and fix it. They said, no. So we're fighting about that. And then they said, well, if we let you pay for it personally, you can put a few million of your own money in, Bruce, but you got to pay prevailing wage. And I said, what? Why do I have to do that? And they said, well, that's the rule. I said, well, let's change the rule. You know what? I got to pay 22% more because it's a government building than if I got private contract. And if we're going to spend $9 million, which is what it's looked like to make the governor's residence nice again, the roof leaks, the basement floods, the elevator doesn't work, the front door's broken. I mean, it's a hello. We take care of our governor's residence the way we take care of our economy. We just let it break down. It's a broken system. I need your help. I need your help to fix it. And help me with the pensions, too. This is a big deal. People are criticizing me for my pension reform plan. It's constitutional and it's fair, and I need you to help me get the message out. Because I've got the plan that does not take away a teacher's pension. It does not reduce the pension of a retiree. One nickel. If you're retired, you got your deal. It doesn't change. And anything you paid in accrued is yours. You got it. You might have got it through a corrupt bargain with a politician, but that's our fault for letting that happen. You got a deal, and we should honor the deal. You're protected for history. But for the future, starting tomorrow, there's no reason you can't have a second pension, a different deal. There's no reason. That's fair and it's constitutional. And we can, whether it's a 401k or a tier 2, there's no reason that you can't get what you got so far and get that when you retire and then have a second pension payment for a different plan. You get 2 pensions when you retire. There's nothing unreasonable about that. Nothing unfair about it. And when I explain it to teachers, they go, okay, got it. I kind of like the old one, but if I get 2, that's fine. You know what? And it'll save us $2.7 billion this year if we do this. And the second pension plan is perfect. It already exists. It's already tier 2. It's already done for new hires. There's no reason we can't do it for current workers for their future work. It's already in place. It's already agreed to. This ain't hard. The government union bosses are cranky because they know this is real. They know it's a major savings, and so they're cranky at me about it. But you know what? That's what we got to do. This is what's fair for you. And I want you to control what goes on to your pensions. If you like your current pensions for your Government workers, fine. If you want to change them, you should be able to change them. You should not take away history, because that's contract law in America. You don't change history, but you should be able to change the pensions for the future. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing unethical about it, or it's mean about it. It's not mean-spirited. It's just agreements. It's just working on agreement. You should be empowered. So this is the time. I need your help. The change has to happen in the next 4 months. This isn't a 10-year. This is a 4-month. We got to empower you. We're going to have 6 bills drafted, 6 core bills. People say to me, "Boss, you're trying to do a lot awful fast." I say, well, we got a crisis, and we need to change fast. And they say, well, but that's a lot of legislation, these 6 bills you want to do. And we're going to have them drafted in the next 3 weeks. I say, do you know how many bills get passed in the General Assembly every year? Do you guys have any idea? 600. We can pass 6. We can pass 6. We'll focus like a laser on turning the state around and giving the power back to you. When we do that, when we're competitive on our taxes, when we're competitive on our economic regulations, I tell you what, I'm going to Indiana, I'm going to Wisconsin, I'm going to Iowa, and you know where I'm really going? Texas. I'm going to Texas. You know, my predecessor in the governor's office used to whine all the time, "Oh, Rick Perry's being mean, he shouldn't come up to Illinois anymore and take our jobs." And I said, no, Rick Perry's been doing his job. He's been growing the heck out of the Texas economy. And I say, Rick Perry and your new replacement, Governor Abbott, you got about 6 more months to keep up that shenanigans coming to Illinois. You got 6 months left. And after we get these changes made, you look out, buddy. I'm coming to Dallas, and I'm coming to Houston, and I'm coming to Fort Worth, and we're going to bring those companies right back up here. We can get a booming economy. We've got the hardest working families in America. We've got the most fertile farms in America. We have the best location of any state in America. We should be kicking tails compared to the other states. And you know what? Starting this summer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to restore the pride. We're going to restore the prosperity in Illinois by giving the power back to you. Thank you. God bless you. Wonderful institution. Thank you for what you do for Elmhurst College, and I'm all in to help you every way I can. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Governor, thank you, and we are, of course, honored by your presence and wish you well as you continue your efforts to turn our state around. At Elmhurst College, we want you to know we support your worthy cause in fixing our state's problems and moving us forward. Now, we know the road will be rocky, and at times, but remember the words of Winston Churchill. We shall not be judged by the criticisms of our opponents, but by the consequences of our acts. So in that spirit, we want to give you this clock from Elmhurst College. And as you know, time doesn't stand still, it moves forward. So thank you. We're honored by your presence. Good luck to you. So we're going to have the mayor come forward, and Alan, would you please come forward as well?
Thank you, Lee. Well, I'd also like to welcome Governor Rauner. And how about a round of applause, another round of applause for Governor Rauner. With all due respect to Lee and my stepfather, Gene Hoffman, Governor Rauner, you're the most exciting politician we've had in Illinois for a very long time. And we're all looking forward to your progress. And if it's all right with you, tonight when I go home, I'm going to tell my wife that you warmed up the crowd for me. It's an honor to be here today, certainly in Elmhurst College. It's one of the things that people ask me, what makes Elmhurst so special? And I tick off all the things. It's the people, it's the museum, it's the historical museum, it's the art museum, it's the new library, it's the $500 million hospital. All of that doesn't work. And the sum of its parts isn't greater than its whole unless Elmhurst College is included in that list. And we're just so fortunate to have this college here and a man like Dr. Alan Ray to help us with the college. I have a proclamation here, and I think, Governor, you'd appreciate this. I think it was written by an attorney and reviewed by a politician. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's actually a condensation of Lee's speech earlier. But I will say this, in the 2 short years that I've been mayor and I've had an opportunity to work with Alan Ray, he's certainly somebody who pushes boundaries. He's one that frequently asks all of us to look beyond, certainly look beyond the campus. And I think that's evident with some of the partnerships he's formed in a very short amount of time. John Marshall Law School, Elmhurst Memorial, Edwards Elmhurst Healthcare with the nursing facility, Roosevelt University, and many, many more. Without reading everything, and certainly have an opportunity to have lunch with Dr. Ann on a regular basis, and we talked about how, boy, we have a great institution. And I'm like, well, we have a great institution too, and we kind of go back and forth. And I said, well, we should do something together. And I know over the years there's been some collaboration between the city and the schools, or city and the college. And I said, well, we're kind of talking, and Lee's not listening, so we're over here. And I said, Dr. Ray, we should pull together a committee. We should. And Dr. Ray, he's kind of unassuming and very quiet. And we get up from that lunch, and I go to leave, and he gets me in a vice grip. And I said, hey, he said, that is a terrific idea. We need to make that happen. And I'm very proud to be a part of that. It's before committee right now, and we are making part of our Elmhurst Code, and we'll certainly let you know and invite you when that happens. So without further ado, and therefore, now I, Steve Morley, Mayor of Elmhurst, Illinois, do hereby proclaim March 7th, 2015 as Dr. S. Alan Ray Day. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Just a few closing housekeeping issues. Want to remind you of the 6th annual Evening for Scholarships is Saturday, next Saturday, March 14th at 6 o'clock here in the Frick Center. We expect to raise over $300,000 for Elmhurst College student scholarships. The event features Elmhurst College students, hear the College Jazz Ensemble, a live auction, a paddle raise, and the privilege of helping support scholarships for deserving students. We are pleased to have this year's event chairs with us, Russ Wiegand, an Elmhurst class of 1964 graduate and trustee of the college, and his wife Joyce. Thank you for coming today, and good luck on the scholarship dinner. This year's dinner will also feature a raffle. Tickets are $100 for a chance to win one of 3 cash prizes. Over 300 tickets are available for a prize of $10,000. Well, that could go a long ways to balancing the budget in the state, couldn't it? And second prize of $1,000 and third prize of $500. The remaining proceeds support the college's scholarship fund. Jake Medding from the development office is here and able to help you with sponsorships, table purchases, and raffle tickets. So please join us at the scholarship dinner next Saturday and be very giving. So reach into your checkbook. You can do it today, as a matter of fact. And Dave, they can catch you on the way out the door. So also, please take a look at your tables, some of the upcoming events of the Chicago Alumni Club events and others, and we are encouraged by our area alumni to participate in club events this spring. There's a Blue Jay Backers golf outing. Joe Herder is kind of always the master at that event, and that will be in June of this year. And of course, most importantly, is the 8th Annual Governmental Forum, Governor, and if you're in the area, you're invited to attend. It's at Drury Lane on April 9th. At 11:30, our speaker is Senator Mark Kirk, and the moderator will be Bruce Dole of the Chicago Tribune. It's one of our forums that we host here in the college and feel part of our commitment to you as a community. So come listen to our U.S. Senator Mark Kirk. With that, we are going to also be joined once again by the Elmhurst College Women's Chorus, led by Donna Tallman, as our closing event for this wonderful day. And again, Governor, thank you for your presence. Please enjoy the music from some of our outstanding students, Elmhurst College Women's Chorus, led by Donna Tallman.
Capuchon, je lui donnerai. Danse, mon danse, our traditional end. It's an Irish blessing for the month of March. Here we go. May God give you for every storm a rainbow. May God give you for every tear a smile. May God give you for every care a promise and a blessing in each trial. For every problem life sends, may God give you a faithful friend to share. For every sigh, may God give you a sweet song and an answer for each prayer. May God give you a rainbow. May God give you a smile. May God give you a sweet song. Amen. Amen.
Hi, I'm John Quigley, President and CEO of the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry. In these challenging economic times, it's imperative that our residents and businesses band together to not only shop Elmhurst, but buy Elmhurst whenever possible. We have great stores in our city center, Spring Road, Butterfield Road, York and Villette Streets, St. Charles and Route 83, North Avenue and Lake Street, along North York and even Grand Avenue. I ask for your help. Let's keep our tax dollars in Elmhurst.
This is no place for the Tour de France, and this is no place for NASCAR. But in everyday life, bicycles and cars do share the road. I'm Robbie Ventura. I spent 4 years riding with Lance Armstrong and the U.S. Postal Team. I've coached hundreds of cyclists who compete around the world, and I can tell you it's no accident when everyone gets where they're going safely. The key is to know the rules of the road. For example, cyclists have a right to be on the street, and people in cars have an obligation to watch out for them. Often the road is the only way for people on bikes to get where they're going, and some sidewalks are even more dangerous than streets. Finally, some communities allow kids to ride on the sidewalk, but it may be illegal for adults. When cyclists are on the road, they're supposed to obey all traffic laws, signs, and signals, always riding in the same direction as cars in their lane. Some cyclists feel safer riding against traffic where they can see oncoming cars, but that's actually more dangerous because cars have less time to slow down and go around them. People on bikes should also ride predictably and signal so drivers know what they're planning to do. Cyclists turning right may do this, or this. Here's what a left turn signal looks like, and if you see this, expect the cyclist to slow down or stop. Whether you're riding or driving, it's also important to know your place on the road. Bicycles should stay as far to the right as practical, but they may have to ride farther out into the lane if there's broken glass, rocks, and other debris by the curb or on the shoulder. People on bikes also ride farther into the lane on narrow roads to keep cars from passing too closely, or they might be moving across the lane getting ready to turn left. Like drivers, cyclists are supposed to use designated lanes if they're planning to turn. Whether you're in a car or on a bike, you should also use extra caution in key situations or danger zones. Take passing, for example. When going around a cyclist, a driver should allow at least 3 feet between the vehicle and the bike. More is better, especially for a cyclist going up a hill or on a high-speed road where fast-moving vehicles can generate strong air currents. On a narrow road, you might have to move into the next lane to pass safely, and that can mean waiting a few seconds for oncoming traffic to clear. Be patient. Turning can also put you in a danger zone. Say you're in a car planning to make a right turn, but there's a cyclist to your right or riding behind you. People are often tempted to speed up, get ahead of the bike, and make that turn, but doing so could cause a crash. If there's any chance you're going to block the path of a bike on the road or a parallel bike path, wait for the cyclist to pass before turning. How much time do you lose by slowing down and playing it safe? As you can see, it's only a matter of seconds. And when you're turning or changing lanes, don't forget about your blind spots. After checking your mirrors, always look quickly to your right or left. Another major risk is a car turning left into the path of an oncoming bike. In these situations, drivers may misjudge the speed and distance of cyclists or fail to see them. Bikes are smaller than cars, so they're harder to see and may appear further away. But some could be moving pretty fast, 20 or even 30 miles an hour. And if the cyclist is going straight, he has the right of way. Bike paths or sidewalks that run parallel with the road may seem like fairly safe places, but these too can be danger zones. A driver making a turn might be focused on the road and not see a cyclist traveling on the sidewalk or path until the last minute. Someone riding on a sidewalk or path in the opposite direction of a driver is even less likely to be seen. So in these situations, drivers should be extra careful, checking the sidewalk or path for cyclists or pedestrians. People on bikes should ride defensively. Watch for motorists making a turn and be prepared to stop. Another danger zone involves driveways or alleys. Drivers and cyclists often cruise right into the street, pulling out of a driveway or alley, looking for cars in the middle of the lane, but not for bikes or pedestrians on the sidewalk or on the right side of the road. And if you're only looking to your left for oncoming traffic, you won't see a cyclist coming from the other direction. You have to remind yourself every time to take it slow and look both ways before entering the road. Cyclists riding along parked cars are in another danger zone because drivers and passengers sometimes open doors. Whoa! This happens so often, cyclists actually have a name for it, being doored. So if you're getting out of a parked car, always look over your shoulder to make sure no cyclists are coming. And cyclists may want to ride farther into the lane. One final danger zone is right behind the wheel or handlebars.
You're blocking the road. I'm trying to get by here.
You have to give me room. You have to wait a second.
When you're on the road, conflicts can occur, and it's tempting to express yourself. But getting angry, hostile, or abusive doesn't help. And it can take you to places you never intended to go. Aggressive behavior can lead to criminal charges. Revving your engine, blasting your horn, yelling, or pounding on a vehicle can result in legal action against drivers or cyclists. The best advice for anyone on the road is to stay calm, exercise caution, be patient and courteous. Share the road, show respect, and always be on the alert, especially in those danger zones. When passing a cyclist, leave at least 3 feet between car and bicycle. More is better. Be patient when passing and when turning right. If there's any chance you'll block a bike in your lane, on the sidewalk or side path, slow down and wait for the cyclist to pass. If you're making a left, remember that oncoming cars and bikes have the right of way, and that bicycles may be moving faster than you think. Don't forget to check your blind spots and to signal whenever passing or turning. Be especially careful when leaving a driveway or alley. Check the street and sidewalk in both directions for cars, cyclists, and pedestrians. And look for bikes before getting out of a car that's parked in the street. Finally, keep in mind that you're not in a race where NASCAR meets the Tour de France. When you share the road, the reward is everyone gets where they're going safely.